Guys, this is exciting. I've been waiting to play with this for a long time. It's been promoted to me on Facebook, it's been promoted to me on Amazon, it's been promoted to me on Instagram. So I think the universe is telling me that we really need one of these. It just so happens that a subscriber, Bruce, from California, sent us one. And I think he realizes how amazing this is gonna be. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen, but we're excited to share this kind of thing with you guys. So backing up really quick, if you're new to our channel, why is this exciting? Okay, we've been building a house. So if this is the first video you've seen, you've missed a whole heck of a lot of stuff. Okay, so rewind, go way back. There's lots of playlists. Alyssa and I have been building this house for 2 years, and let's just say it's not a conventional house. It's made with a bunch of super exotic building materials, and it's supposed to be mega special, extra, energy efficient, and we kind of want to know, like, is that true? Or is it all just like hype or marketing? And then there's a few things about the construction of this house that we've done that have kind of made our life really difficult. We'll talk about some of that stuff later as we kind of share what this is. If you've been with us for a while, and you're not sure what this is, you're gonna find out why this is really exciting, because it's gonna let us take a look at the house that we've been building in a completely different way. Quick start guide, fun. Ooh, nice. So small.
Jesse, not the right phraseology.
Dainty, quaint. Good things come in small packages. Fun-sized. Wow, can't believe that this is a thermal imaging camera. Wow. So it looks like there's a cord included, fairly long, maybe a 3-foot cord, and it's USB-C. And a fun-sized carrying case for the little camera device. This camera is a thermal imaging camera, and it's built into a very small device that is more portable and more accessible and more affordable than pretty much any thermal imaging camera ever. For a moment, let's just chat about thermal imaging and why it even matters, what it's for. So thermal imaging really is a camera that sees in a spectrum of light that our human eyes are not able to see. For example, when it's dark outside, we can't see because there's not a certain wavelength of light that's visible to our eyeballs. But a thermal camera doesn't see in those wavelengths. It sees infrared. And so it's able to see heat versus the spectrum of light that our eyes see. Why is that important? Well, there's certain things that are beneficial to see in terms of heat instead of in the range of our human eye. So a thermal imaging camera has kind of come out of the need to see hot spots, cold spots, temperature differentials, and the applications for thermal imaging are insanely wide. Everything from DIY, which this camera allows a person now affordably to do, which this technology used to be insanely expensive. Everything from home inspectors to medical people, car technicians, that diagnose cars. So the technology is extremely broad, and that's kind of just tip of the iceberg as far as what is thermal imaging and why is it important. Let's talk a little bit about how this thermal camera works. First of all, this is made by a company called FLIR. Anybody who knows thermal cameras knows the name FLIR. This company has been doing this for a very long time. If you have ever seen something on the news like search and rescue trying to find somebody in the woods, or maybe they're trying to find, a criminal or something, this technology can be attached to like a helicopter, for example. And so they use it with, for example, search and rescue. I mean, it's that incredible of a technology. So the way this camera works is it has 2 cameras that work independently of each other. One is the thermal camera or infrared, and the other camera is more of a traditional camera that shows an image of what you and I would see. And the software takes these 2 images and it overlays them so that you kind of understand what you're looking at. Because if you just saw a heat map of something, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. But when you overlay it on top of an image of what your eye sees, suddenly the colors make a whole lot of sense. This device is built to work with iOS devices like iPhones and iPads. The FLIR 1 camera is actually available in an Android compatible configuration also. So it has an iOS attachment. And this camera features something that I find really cool. I was a little bit worried because if you care about your iPhone at all, most of us put it in a case. And the first thing I thought was that's never going to fit in the case. But they have a small extendable plug that allows you to reach in to the case that's on your iPad or your iPhone. So that's kind of a cool feature. It does have an internal battery that has to be charged in order for the camera to work. So it doesn't derive its power from the device. It actually has to be charged. I could see that kind of being annoying because if the camera goes dead, well, you got nothing. So the charging port is a USB-C charging port, and I don't know exactly why that is. There must be some logic behind it. I read something somewhere that it had something to do with the ability to turn the camera around and use it like what they called a thermalfy, like a selfie, but a thermal selfie. Ha ha ha. So I don't know if that's even a thing or if people really care about it, but anyway, it uses a USB-C charging cord, which is different than the older technology. It does have a power button, and it does have a short boot up cycle, so it's not an instant on thing. You have to turn it on. It takes a moment for it to boot up. You do need to have an app to make this camera work. It doesn't work on the native camera on the iOS devices. The app is available on the Apple App Store. Like I said, there's an Android camera available, and they have an Android app. You do not need to have an account to make the camera work. That's changed. It was that way at one time, and it's no longer that way. So once you have the app, a compatible device, and a camera, you're ready to start doing thermal imaging.
Is that the blueberry dance?
Sure is.
That's the blueberry shuffle. How about that?
So what are we looking at here? So once you get the app installed, you plug the camera in and you turn it on. This is what the app is going to show you, and it's basically in real time. And what you're seeing here is a typical image that you would see if you look through a normal camera, and then a thermal image is overlaid on top of that, and that helps you to understand kind of what the thermal image is showing you. This app or this camera system is capable of 3 different things that are really similar to what you're probably accustomed to with a regular camera app. It can do video, and the video is capable of audio. So if you wanted to make notes about something, or maybe if you're a contractor and you're doing a home audit, you can record video and make audible notes, and that audio is included in the video. You can also take still photos, and those are exactly what they sound like. And then there's also the time-lapse feature, which I don't know that there's really any particular settings for that. No, but you can do something over time, which if you were trying to find some sort of an issue, say with electronics or something, you might be able to capture that over time. They include several palettes which are accessible in this small menu down at the bottom, and they just change the display of how the color or the temperatures are shown on the camera. This is the one that's default, but if you choose a different one, maybe it can either provide a different way of looking at the problem or make it more visible what it is that you're looking at. This button here activates a crosshairs in the middle of your screen, and what it's doing is showing you the temperature right where the crosshairs are located, and that's a real-time temperature. It's currently showing the temperature in centigrade or Celsius, and in the settings you can change this to Fahrenheit, or you can simply turn it off. It's really weird. There's some blue, really hot spot right there on the bed, surrounded by cool spots. Huh, that's strange. The app does help you keep an eye on the battery life of the camera by displaying the battery status in the corner. Super fun, right? Okay, it's like moderately nerdy. So it's a really cool technology, but why would you care? I'm sure if you're watching this video and you're looking for the FLIR camera, you already have a reason, but let's kind of step back for the layperson. What in the world could you do with this camera that might benefit your life? So we live in a heating climate. What that means is we have to add heat to our structure during the winter to keep it warm and cozy and above freezing. We spend a lot of money and time and energy keeping our homes comfortable. So what we're trying to do is figure out if there's anywhere we might be losing energy in the house. And that would of course increase the cost and effort necessary to keep the house comfortable. So we can use this technology to look for places like that, identify them, create some sort of solution, and end up with a lower energy bill or less effort and a more comfortable home. So when we built this home, we spent a lot of money on highly efficient windows and doors, because windows and doors are one of the most common areas in a home where energy is lost or gained depending on the climate that you're in. So we can use this camera to determine whether the windows are a place where we're losing a lot of energy, or we can even identify spots around the windows where the ceiling or the air seal might not be in the best condition. As you can see, we haven't even sealed around these windows at all, and you can see in the purple areas that we're actually losing quite a bit of heat around the windows. So that'd be a great place to start if we wanted to reduce our energy consumption. Let's say that you're in a cooling climate, maybe a tropical area, and you spend a lot of your time and energy or resources keeping your home cool and comfortable. But you go into a room and you think, man, why is this room always hot? This camera would allow you to go into a room like that and look for things that are unintentionally adding heat to the room. What you're looking at here is actually a Thunderbolt display from Apple, which has a very good energy consumption rating, but the reality is it's going to create some heat. So maybe turning this device off when it's not in use or unplugging it would help to conserve energy. Let's say that you wanted to hang something on a wall, or maybe you were wanting to do some remodeling or something, and you were looking for where plumbing and electrical might be located in a wall. That might be tough to do unless you could see through the wall. This camera, because it's looking for heat, doesn't really concern itself with the density of the material. It can see things behind that. So here we're actually looking at a couple of outlets, and the temperature differential between the two really isn't that much, but it's enough that it's visible to the camera. Of course, that would mean probably don't want to cut or drill or hang things where those are located. This is just another example of the camera's ability to see heat and not necessarily the material that our eye would see. So we can see the wires that are located here, and of course we would want to avoid those if we were going to modify the wall at all. Something that maybe isn't immediately obvious is how a camera like this could be a safety device. For example, if you have extension cords or things that are run long distances, how can you really be sure that those things are not creating a fire hazard or that they're working properly? For the time being, we've been using an extension cord quite a bit in the house as we work on getting our permanent wiring completed. And this extension cord here is only servicing a few lights. But you can see that that extension cord where those two meet is actually quite warm. Is it a fire hazard? Not necessarily, but I think it's important that we know that, and now we know we need to get rid of that and replace it with something that's in better condition.
Hey, Bugaboo, you're a subject. You weren't supposed to leave.
Here we can see that cats really enjoy sitting in the sunlight. Oh, you want to sit right there? Here, I'll put the blanket over him right there. Let's say that you've lost a pet and you can't fathom where in the world they could be hiding. Gee, I wonder where Bugaboo went. First of all, it's hot and it's moving. It is moving slightly sloth-like, so it's possible it's not a cat, but I think we might have found the little pest. There he is. Pet found, pet found. All right, ladies, so here's the thing. We're doing a very objective research here, and I can tell you with confidence that you're losing a lot of heat through your leggings.
But honey, yoga pants are pants. They're perfectly suitable in wintertime outside.
No, I totally agree, but the thermal camera doesn't agree. Like, I agree, you're right, because I can't tell, but the thermal camera says you wrong. So either your socks are doing an amazing job, or your legs kind of just end. Because it sure looks to me like your legs kind of just stop. I'm thinking your socks are doing a great job of keeping your feet really toasty.
Merino wool.
Ooh. You don't even have to pull the sweater down. I can tell you're wearing a low-cut sweater.
So what you're saying is you don't approve of my winter outfit, nor do you want to let me borrow your jacket.
Well, I think we should test your jacket to see if it helps with the heat loss. Commence down jacket.
Wow.
Well, based on this, it's doing a fantastic job because you're very slowly disappearing into the background.
Oh, that's so awesome. Hold on, let me get her zipped.
Guys, Alyssa's slowly just becoming legs and a head.
Can you really see it?
Yeah, so... Wait, I can see your legs, your head, and your
How
hands.
are my yoga pants doing?
Terrible. You literally are legs, a head, and hands. Yep, exactly. So, if you needed to hide from a thermal imaging camera, I think we just figured out how to do that. Wear a down coat, down booties, down yoga pants, down hat, down gloves.
And don't play thermal hide and seek in summer.
Yes, and don't play in the summer because it's very hard to identify a human being against very hot things. Would you look cold? You would look colder because like the truck's going to be like 150 degrees, so you'd be a cold spot.
Great.
Awkward. So let's just pretend you were being chased and you needed to hide in a hurry. All you would need to do is... Whoa, where'd you go? That's so funny.
I disappeared?
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Pretty good
Wow.
down comforter, I think.
That's really fun.
On a more serious note, if you lost a child... No, seriously, if your child's missing, maybe you went on a hike or something, maybe you could take this into the forest to help find them.
Or if they're hiding in the closet and they're just hiding really
run
good.
Away from home type of thing.
Right. I also used this to send a very atypical breakfast invitation the other day. You could also send really interesting reminders to people like, hey, the coffee's hot or the beer's cold. Another good use would be trying to find things that are hidden inside of other things. For example, concrete, or as we mentioned earlier, a wall. One of the things we've done with this house is we put radiant heat into this slab, and it comes with risk. Anytime we drill or do anything, cut the concrete. Of course, right now we have no clue where that radiant is located, but once we start circulating the heat through the system, we will be able to see where the tubing is located, and we can install hardware and things with a lot less risk. Of course, the list of things that you can use this technology for is really only limited by your imagination, but you could use it to diagnose cars or even to find issues with electronics. The list is long. I see a hot spot hunting. Right.
Just pretty's over there. He sees him.
Oh, I think he sees him. We could see the hot spot run here in a second.
He's a little more deliberate about his hunting. They don't see him, he sees them.
Oh, yeah. There is one weakness to this camera, though, and that is that it only gives you information. It doesn't tell you the problem, obviously. So, for example, we're looking at the front side of our house, and what it looks like, if you didn't interpret this image correctly, is that we're losing a lot of heat through the garage doors. And that's actually not true. The garage doors are dark colored, and the sun is actually warming them up through radiant heat. And the reason we know that's true is if we look at the man door, which is ironically white but uninsulated, it's actually a very low temperature, and that tells us that the heat loss through that door is actually minimal. So I think if you don't really think about what it's showing you, you could easily misinterpret it and you could make poor decisions based on the information. We have a lot of things that we want to use this camera for. We're super excited to finally have one. And I can tell you this thing's gonna show up randomly in future videos. No, I don't know where. But that's not this video. We look forward to kind of taking a thorough look at the house and kind of seeing what we can learn about it and having it help us make better decisions. That's just gonna be in a future video. So common questions about the FLIR 1 device. Can it see in the dark?
Off into the darkness. House at night.
Yup. How far can it see? Well, we went outside and we just kind of filmed our house to see, at what point is it no longer usable. Pretty far. According to the manual, they say 100 feet is how far away it can see a human. How long does the battery last? Well, as we've been filming this video, I actually needed to charge the battery a little bit. It's about an hour or so. So what we recommend if you're going to be using this for long periods of time is to have some sort of portable power pack. And when you're not using it, you can just simply plug it in. You don't need to remove it from the iPad or anything like that. And it does seem to charge pretty fast. So if you need an extended runtime, that's what we would do. How much does it cost? The device itself is anywhere from $200 to $300. That's a little bit of an investment for sure, but compared to the cost of this type of technology, that's a bargain. So what are our final thoughts, kind of first impressions on this? I think we're really impressed. I really didn't know what to expect. Of course, you see the images that they show you when they're selling you the product and you wonder, does it really work that good? And I would say it's usable. I think it's really a matter of what you do with it. But as far as the compactness of the technology, as in it's not bulky or clunky, the plug and play, it seems like you download the app, plug it in, you turn it on, and it just works. I would say overall, it's a great device. I would definitely have one of these around. I'm glad that Bruce from California sent us one. Thank you, Bruce, for doing that. We were going to end up with one of these anyway. Like I said earlier in the video, they've been marketing to us like crazy. It's like they know we're building a house or something. So we're excited to have one. We'll have to kind of explore what we can even do with it. Things not to do.
What's the temperature of the sun? 93,121 miles per second. Oh, my eyes!
What is the gender of your baby? Boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. Hunting. No, seriously, don't go hunting with this thing. You're going to jail.
Guys, I totally figured out how to tell if Alyssa is sneaking snacks in the middle of the night. Let's see, we'll put it right here.